and Earth by 2030 in action with your voice, please.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here. And the first piece I'm going to sing is called One Song Singing. So as you're listening, feel that instrument of love that you are, feel the connection to your fellow humans who are watching right now, and then just keep zooming out and allow that one song singing to fill your heart. Here we go. When the instrument of love was played, all beings fell to their knees, palms pressed deep to the heart of Gaia. All the dying breaths and all the birthing cries were one song singing, one song singing. Ooh, we are one song singing, one song. One song, we are one song singing. When the instrument of love was played, all hatred surrendered to the peace. Tears flowed straight to the heart of Gaia. All the anguished cries and all ecstatic joys were one song singing, one song singing. We are one song singing, one song. One song, we are one song singing. One song singing. Put your hand on your heart. Feel your connection. One song singing. connection to our mother. Palms pressed to the heart of Gaia. Remember, her heartbeat is yours. Palms pressed to the heart of Gaia. We are that one song singing. Palms pressed to the heart of Gaia. Love and gratitude.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, dearest sister. One song singing. Whenever you sing, I feel like we've entered the golden age. We're going to hear about getting to the golden age a little later, but you are already transporting us, and we haven't even begun. Oh, we have just begun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's going to be a little bit more of Kristen right now because we're going to see the Peace on Earth video, a 2-minute version of it. Kristen's music and narration will be with us, so an extension of Kristenness. That's my favorite new word, Kristenness. So if we could play the Peace on Earth video so people get a feel for what this whole thing is we're talking about and we're doing, and then we'll go into more detail as we unpack today.
What if peace on Earth was actually possible? What if it was not only possible, but could be achieved by 2030? What if enough people playing a game could tip the world into this reality? We are building a movement of dream keepers, those who believe peace on Earth is possible and are committed to making it a reality. Empowered with the 7 actions that enabled the first Earth Run to unite the world and create peace on Earth over its 86-day journey. These 7 actions are designed as a global game that will take place between 2020 and 2030. The planet's wisdom keepers tell us that when 0.5% of humanity wholeheartedly believe peace on Earth is possible, that's 40 million people, there will be enough coherence of thought and emotion to shift our collective consciousness to make this a reality. With the torch held high, we will experience the world we most want in our hearts coming into existence and witness the dawning of a new future for humankind. Play the game and have fun. Make friends. Create community. Make a difference. Celebrate our common humanity. At this critical time, when we are becoming more and more divided, this game serves as deep medicine to heal that which separates us. We invite you to be one of the planet's dream keepers and accept this sacred fire as a torchbearer for our future as a species. I'll carry the torch. Will you?
Thank you, my friends, for that. I just want to make sure that you're getting the full sound. I'm not sure I heard the sound beyond Kristen's voice, so maybe the next video you can look at that. Thank you. So let me continue on the journey. I don't know if we have any more sound video, so we may be okay here. So let me tell you a little bit around the story of what happened in this past year, and to share a little bit of our vision and the game report. So in March of this year, we had 18 partners emerge from what was called the Holo Movement event in Sedona, who said, yes, we want to be part of this Peace on Earth by 2030 movement. And yes, we want to go on this adventure. And yes, we want to engage our networks to participate. So a big shout out to Emmanuel Kutzelman for organizing that event and helping us get launched. Then World Unity Week occurred, which took place in June, and it was built around the 7 actions and frequencies of the game. Thank you to Ben Bowler for feeling inspired to build World Unity Week around these 7 frequencies and the opportunity he and his team, including John Raymer and Irina Morrison, provided us to reach so many people. As you can see, we are in relationship with so many. On day 1 of World Unity Week, we launched our 7-year journey to peace on earth by 2030 by fast forwarding to 2030 and through ritual storytelling, taking people on that journey. We had 12 partners represent all the elements and tell their part of the story. All the elements means how we actually achieve this result. Thank you to each person who participated, some of whom are here today. We were proud that it was the most viewed event of World Unity Week. That began a daily meditation journey on each of the 7 frequencies in which several thousand people joined us each day, raised theirs and the planet's frequencies around empowerment, oneness, unity, cooperation, abundance, love, and faith. Our Peace on Earth partners modeling radical collaboration, the new term of art in our world, then worked together to invite people to play the inaugural version of the online game, the global online game, weekly from August 2nd to September 20th. One of our partners, the Connection Field, created an online platform for people to share their journey. It was inspiring to witness and support the deep places people went. So I thank Julie Kroll, who's here today, Teresa Collins, Connie J. Mitchell for all their good work organizing this beautiful platform for people to share. These are some of the quantitative results that were achieved, and you'll hear more of the personal transformation stories today from the players of the game. So some of the results. We led 4 information meetings, which generated 563 people who were interested, 2 of which were hosted by our partners, the Rotary Club and Pathways to Peace and Living Earth Movement. Thank you, Tez, Gabrielle, David Wick, and Charles Betterton. Out of that, 151 people chose to play the game. 90 reported their actions, 1,567 to be precise, and counting as more of them enter their results in the platform. They befriended 779 people. As a result of this, 40,000 people were directly impacted. Our rubric is that each action impacts a minimum of 25 people. If you include the morphogenetic field building influence of these actions, it's much more. We had 12 dream keepers who took and recorded in the platform all 7 actions. That's the recognition you get when you have taken the 7 actions, at least at a bronze level, and have recorded it. More will be coming before our initiation ceremony next Wednesday. These results are added to our global results that we've achieved over the last 4 years. We now have 47 partner organizations around the world promoting the game across Africa, Afghanistan, all different places in the world. 4,563 people have played the game across 13 countries and 7 Peace on Earth zones, 3 of which you'll hear from today. They've taken 34,386 actions. Thank you, Carlin, for this precision, my CTO and friend. They've befriended 14,067 people, and through this rubric, almost 9 million people have been impacted by the ripple effect of the game, and we are just warming up. So that's a little of our story over the last year. That doesn't tell you the subjective part. It doesn't tell you how people have been transformed, how communities have been transformed, but just to give you a sense of some of what we are able to measure. You'll hear more about the personal stories now as you listen to the different people who are representing each of the actions. So we're going to hear from 7 people representing all 7 actions. We're going to start with action 1 on empowerment, and I'm going to introduce now Aziz Royesh, a friend, a colleague, a amazing soul who has been bringing this to Afghanistan. He's one of our Peace on Earth partners through his cluster education initiative. He's taken action one to scale at the scale of a country, empowering 4,000 girls forbidden to go to school to play the game across 9 provinces in Afghanistan. So Aziz, if you could share a few thoughts about your journey of empowerment, your journey personally, but also your journey in your beloved country, Afghanistan. Thank you. I think you may be muted, or we're not hearing you, Aziz, if you are speaking.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, David. And it's really such an honor to be among all these beautiful and strong souls and powerful people who have the power of will, the power of imagination, and the power of love to be shared with people around the world. I believe in that. And actually, the journey of empowerment for me, for my students at Marifat High School back in Afghanistan, and now at this class education, is just defined by this very simple idea. For us, empowerment is not just an empowerment, it is a game of life and survival. It's a game of enlightening people in the darkest era of their memory and history. Because of that, through our class education program and through delivering these sessions, I've been really encouraged to see so many beautiful girls and women from different parts of the country. They have revived something, as we call that, as a hope for life. And they have a dream, especially when they look at their vision in 2030, and they all feel that is something now, not only in the horizon for themselves, that's something in the mirrors and the pictures that every day that they see that. Because of that, I'm really grateful to be part of this program. And more than that, I feel very powerful, much more powerful than ever, to work in this time that people are stressed and people are under very big pressure, but they have something as a platform to organize and mobilize their power. And when they free their energy, maybe just recall that on 2030, but it is the beginning of the journey now. When they free that energy, millions of people around the world will be twinkling, they will be sparkled. And David, for you, for Kristen now, especially Kristen with her songs, she is a lovely, lovely image for all my girl students. All of them, when they're talking of Christian. As you talk that as Christianness, they call that as Christianhood, as sisterhood, something that they share with themselves. And this is a very big gift for me. And as a person, we have a formula for all our students that comes out of this journey of empowerment, that 1 + 1 makes 2 or equals 2. So each individual is responsible on weekly manner, on monthly manner, to go on and to find another person to ignite them, to inflame them. And that keeps going on. And hopefully next month or 2 months from now, we will have lots of Fatimas or Sumayas as with their butterflies to come and to talk with you and to share something that they have as a product of this journey. And thanks, David, for that. And I'm really empowered by this action one. It's still in progress because we have still some other sessions to continue till we go to the action 2, and then we help the students or all these young souls to then befriend with the others and then to go on with their journey to the community agency.
Beautiful. Thank you, my friend and my brother. For those of you who want to get a taste of this, we did a whole show with Aziz and 2 of his students on Tuesday, Humanity Rising. If you go to Humanity Rising on this Tuesday, last Tuesday, you can learn about them and meet these amazing young girls who are so inspiring. And we believe Afghanistan is going to be a role model, already is a role model of the world of resilience, positiveness in the light of all the challenges. If they can stay positive, we can stay positive. And Aziz, you are a role model to that, a role model of that. Thank you, my friend. Okay, we're going to move on. You've now got a little taste of what empowerment can do. Everyone who plays the game starts here and they empower themselves as agents of change. They empower themselves to go on the journey. They empower themselves to really step into their next place of growth and play the game from that place of what we call the growing edge. So we now are going to move into action 2 of the game. And we're going to hear from Heidi Sparks-Gruber. Heidi is an extraordinary being. She is a role model of getting things done in an inspiring way. She's a Peace and Earth partner through Humanity Rising Network. She's also one of the people who qualified as a Dream Keeper, and also through her diligence was one of our top 5 performers. So Heidi walks her language. What is it? What's the language? What does it go? Walks her talk.
Thank you.
Heidi.
Thank you, David. Frequency 2 in the peace game is oneness. It's about transforming that sense of separation that we all know into the golden light of oneness with myself, my family, my friends, my community. That is being one with all of humanity and with my higher self. Not so easy in practice. The action of oneness is befriending others who are different than or separate from me. This is the action of the game that first caught my attention and that once started got me hooked on playing full out for all of the rest of the weeks. If I could do this, anything was possible. I was intrigued by the idea that the separation could be transformed into something good, and even more intrigued that my personal local actions could actually help realize peace on Earth at large by the end of this decade. I wanted very much to believe that that was possible, and I was ready to try and see. My growing edge, which became really important for me to understand, especially when faced with the absence of that golden light of oneness that was given to us in the meditation, was not to stop there. That is, to notice my desire not to see or not to resolve the separation when I felt it. My intention became, in that place of that growing edge, my intention became to be grateful for the impulse that tells me I don't want to or I don't need to, and to use that to first examine what is more important to me than peace in that moment, and then to proceed to connect for peace, trusting that that would happen. That intention became even stronger when I asked myself what might happen if many people took this action all around the world. I saw a world in which awareness and focused attention would proliferate and loving kindness would flow everywhere. And then asked what the world would look like if that didn't happen. Status quo, peace on Earth could remain a distant two-dimensional conceptual hope with no real way to get there every day. The game then asked what commitment you are willing to make to act on those insights. And my assignment was clear. Notice the people I didn't want to befriend, notice the root of that resistance, and move toward befriending them anyway. I made a list of the people I'd be thrilled to do this with in the coming 2 weeks, and there were 10 right away. Everyone from 2 neighbors with whom I had felt misunderstood for 10 years, to people who were doing things for me that I had not acknowledged, to discontinued relationships that I had just let go away. We were then reminded to integrate those actions into our schedule so we could complete by the next meeting. Yikes, 10 people. What kind of time would that take? I stopped, let that go, put my intention at center of my upcoming week, and was willing to see what would happen. Here's what happened. I noticed that while I found it was hard to think of anyone that I felt separate from, I realized that was only because I didn't want to put those people on the list. That was a revelation. As soon as their names came up, I put them on my list, and the move from separation toward oneness began. Little miracles happened everywhere those next 2 weeks. Those 2 neighbors with whom I had had petty, recurring conflicts over 10 years just showed up on my road one day as I was retrieving my empty garbage cans. Interesting metaphor. I found myself reaching out to them with affection. Even I was surprised at that, to their surprise and delight. And in our conversation, I discovered that they had been taking care of me for weeks without my knowing it. And we hugged and wished each other well when we parted, all filled with this golden light. I remember walking away going, did that really just happen? So naturally. And the separation that so I have discovered since that lots of opportunities to emerge from cover of being separate begin to come out. And 2 are really, really tough for me. I just realized them last week. But acceptance and forgiveness, yes, even oneness with them is now a possibility, just because I've become aware of it. In the separation that remains, I can now see what I am choosing instead of peace. That is so important to me. Ignoring those people has been, and what I've noticed is that ignoring those people has been kind of an unacknowledged punishment for what they did. I see that if I resolve that issue, I can't punish them anymore. And this makes the choice very clear. I have continued to notice the resistance as it's happening, focus on the opportunity and the person right in front of me, give my full attention and listen without judgment. And it transforms the situation every time. I completed my first 10 befriendings, and life keeps bringing more to me. Every day, my intention brings me new people to see, connect with, and leave more whole. More and more, I see that people are at least, in heart, they are lovable as I am. And when met and welcomed, they love back. And I know deeply that the impact is much greater than I can see. The game has brought so much support to all of us players. The ongoing sharing of reflections on each of these actions with other players, like my beautiful Afghani sisters, and the remarkable players following me today on this broadcast, has strengthened, encouraged, and inspired me to reside in my higher self, to take the journey with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. So articulate and so clear and so helpful to help us understand what oneness really means on the ground. We talk about it. We aspire to it. How do we become it? You're an exemplar. Thank you, dearest Heidi, another beloved sister. Okay, I have such wonderful thoughts as I introduce each person. I have got such amazing people that I get to play with, literally play with and co-create with. Another one is Julie Kroll. She's another Peace on Earth partner, and through her organization, The Good of the Whole, has been supporting us in so many different ways in the game. She's a unique being in that she excavates the deep. She doesn't just settle for the surface. She wants to go into the deepest spiritual and multidimensional possibilities of each action. She will share her experience of the game and taking action 3 on unity. Julie, tell us about unity.
Unity. Action 3 is unity, celebrating our shared humanity. And it's hard to do this in just a few minutes. So bear with me, because it has been a journey. Like you said, David, excavating the deep creates so many different levels. But the the action invited us to either attend a celebration or move up the levels to even creating a multicultural celebration of our shared humanity. And I began with my growing edge, where I unexpectedly found a sign in a museum that my great uncle wrote, talking about my great grandparents, how they met, how they homesteaded, and how they settled in as a farm family in South Central Nebraska. And because of that, this sign in this museum that I discovered said, and I quote, "And the grasslands, Indian and buffalo were replaced by families, homesteads, and livestock." And when I saw that, I went into a very disturbed state of being, knowing that, number one, the sign was there and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. When you really look at the truth of the Pawnee Indian in this area, who were these friendly, beautiful people, and how they were displaced and eventually put in a reservation in Oklahoma. So it worked on me for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so that was my growing edges. I was in this place of grief and anger and shame. And I was looking at the grief of Pawnee and the grief of the white man and my ancestors. And then I looked at all of my great grandparents down the line, knowing that probably all 16 of them homesteaded in this area. So it was a really deep injury for me, but also a how the heck do you heal this thing kind of thing. It was just so big, and I felt so powerless. So that began this intention of saying, okay, I could do this. I can heal this. What do I do? And I get to action 3 to perhaps create a celebration of our shared humanity. And I was thinking, well, I'll redo the sign. Well, I was thinking of all the ways to get my family to do something. And I stayed in this place of polarization. I stayed in this place of truth and reconciliation, which kept both of them in this place of non-resolution. It was just, I was stuck there thinking, wow, well, fix the sign. Well, that doesn't fix that. Well, and I stayed there, and through the wisdom and coaching of David, of getting back to this action 3, looking at it deeply, which is celebrating our shared humanity, I had this insight into our shared, what should I call it? Our shared role of corn in this area. And that may sound really weird, but the farmers who homesteaded in this area became corn farmers. And the Pawnee before had not only corn to eat, but corn to celebrate their sacred rituals, their everything. And so when I went to that place, long story short, I created the idea of a celebration with corn and seeds of peace, through really celebrating who we are and our shared humanity through a celebration, an annual celebration at this museum where this sign is. And from there, many levels opened up: my own personal healing, the letting go of guilt, of shame, of holding the polarization, of trying to convince people to wake up to things. So much resolved itself just simply by going to that shared humanity and really honoring what brings us together, and celebrating not only our agriculture, but the sacredness of who we all be in this area now. So long story short, but that's a 5-minute synopsis, David. Thank you.
Julie, you did very good for such a story. Again, we had a deep interview on Wednesday with Julie in Humanity Rising, so check it out. This will be the 45-minute version where you hear all the fine points and all the transformations and all the levels in which Julie took this journey. But for now, you've given us the essence. I am so grateful for how deeply you've played the game and you've shared so profoundly in the connection field and been an inspiration to us all. So, so grateful. Thank you, Julie. Unity in action. Okay, we have one more that I want to share before we go to hear some more of Kristenness. This is a new term of art for just going into these cool places. I'm happy, Kristen, by the way, that you are now beloved in Afghanistan as well as many other parts of the world. Africa, by the way, yesterday made a big hit. So cooperation. And we're going to hear from Miranda Clendenning, who has played the game 7 times. She is far and away the most accomplished player of the game. She's also our game manager and has witnessed many people playing the game. And in spite of the fact that she was doing a few things while everyone else was playing the game, she also played the game online and qualified as a dream keeper and was one of our top 5 performers while everyone else was playing the game, and she was managing and supporting everyone. She's going to talk about cooperation, the action of cooperation, and particularly in the context of a Peace on Earth zone that she created in Crestone, Colorado. Miranda, my dear, but I don't even know what words to say. I get teary-eyed just whenever I try to introduce you. So I'll say nothing less than you're amazing and I love you. And I'm so grateful to have you as my partner and playmate on changing the world.
I love you so much too, David. And it is a pleasure and an honor to work with you every day and to do the global world-changing play with this game that we get to do. Cooperation is my favorite action, and a big part of that is because of the creation of Peace on Earth zones. So not everyone that plays the game goes into creating a Peace on Earth zone or working on transforming their community, but when they do, you can still do the cooperation action even as a player just by yourself and in your own world and figuring out what needs more cooperation. But when you do it at a community level, we have so many amazing people in our Peace on Earth zones or PO zones, you'll hear us call them sometimes, that work on cooperation in much bigger levels. So in our community, our youth decided they wanted to help cure hunger in Crestone so that no kids ever come to school hungry again. And our whole community set out to cooperate on that mission and truly learn what it means to cooperate and hold hands on a bigger unified mission and actually accomplish this dream. And we went from being able to feed 100 meals per month in our community, which is not very much, only 100 families going and getting one little box of food once a month, to in just 2 years, serving 900 boxes of food now. And every week families can go, no questions asked. They don't even have to fill out anything. Just show up. If you need food, you get food. And we planted permaculture food forests, 3 community gardens, town hall greenhouses, had 3 private land sites donated. We get grant money from the county every 6 months to support what we're doing. So anything is possible. I mean, the stories are amazing. Your PO zone picks what you want to do to cooperate. Some people are teaching girls to read. Some people are working on food efforts. Some are working on the homeless. But no matter what the community picks, cooperation is a big way that we create peace on earth and peace on earth in our communities.
Great, Miranda. Wow, so succinct. I love it. That is another big story. And by the way, if you want to hear that story at length, it's so great. We have the Humanity Rising. You were on Thursday on cooperation. So a deep dive for that if you want to go deeper into Miranda's story. And it's quite a story. Miranda, thank you so much. Okay, so we now have a chance for some more Kristenness. Let me just introduce the song while she prepares herself. This is a song called Water of Life. And why she's singing this song in this context is she is a teacher of oneness in all her music. And what more brings us together? What more connects us than the elixir of life, water? So, Kristen, take us into the water of life and let us connect through that beautiful, magical elixir that we get to have on this planet.
Okay, here we go.
Beautiful, Kristen. Just taking it in. Let us all take this extraordinary experience that you offered us in Water of Life, Kristen Hoffman, music of the soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
And the same. Okay, we're going to now, again, take a little bit of a break from the actions directly. And we're going to now begin to explore the work that we have been doing in Africa over the last 2 years. And we launched our Peace on Earth by 2030 in Africa initiative yesterday. And it was extraordinary with the African Union. And Africa is saying, yes, we can create peace on earth here. We can be a role model to the world. So I want to start with a beautiful video that represents the essence, the spirit of Africa, Ubuntu, and hear from Nelson Mandela and his experience of Ubuntu. And then we'll talk a little bit about Peace on Earth by 2030 in Africa. So if you could play that video. Nelson Mandela, one of the remarkable icons of our planet.
Many people regard you as a personification of Ubuntu. What do you understand Ubuntu to be?
In the old days when we were young, a traveler through a country would stop at a village and he didn't have to ask for food or for water. Once he stops, the people give him food, entertain him. That is one aspect of Ubuntu, but it will have various aspects. Ubuntu does not mean that people should not enrich themselves. The question, therefore, is, are you going to do so in order to enable the community around you to be able to improve? These are the important things in life. And if one can do that, you have done something very important which will be appreciated.
So Nelson Mandela, our inspiration, Ubuntu in action. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened yesterday. So our dear Musi Hailu, who is in Ethiopia and who often has problems with the internet, was going to share a little bit about his experience and his work doing the work in Africa to bring this idea forward. But let me speak on his behalf. So Musi is someone, and I want to do a shout out to Ben, helped connect some of the dots, and Miranda connect some of the dots, and met Musi when they were in Ethiopia. And he has always been someone who wanted to go to the next level with the right opportunity, and the right opportunity came along, and I invited him in to play the game and to bring this to Africa. And one thing led to the next, and we said, why don't we see if Africa can lead the way for the world, the cradle of civilization? Why can't we see if Africa can actually create peace on earth by 2030? And we set out to see if we could make that happen. And we had the good fortune to be able to bring on African Union, economic Social and Cultural Council, ECOSOC, which is a part of the AU. And with United Religions Initiative, Musi's organization, our Empowerment Institute, and African Union, we launched this event yesterday. The African Union put out the word to all of civil society across Africa, which represents many, many thousands of civil society organizations. It was remarkably successful. We had all the key leaders from the African Union come and speak. I wish my friend Musi could be here to have you hear his voice. It's such a beautiful voice. But I would say the closest thing that to Musi's voice was Nelson Mandela's voice. He is kind of a protege, if you will. I don't know that he would think of himself that way, but he is in that spirit. A beautiful, beautiful soul. He sent me this video this morning, welcoming me as I woke up this morning. This will give you a little taste of Musi. So Musi, even though you're not here, we're going to give you a big shout out. But this is what he sent me this morning. He said, "The sweetest time of the day is when you pray, because you are talking to the one who loves you the most. Good morning." That was his good morning greeting to me this morning. That's Musi's spirit. So although we don't get to speak to Musi right now, again, if you want to know more about Musi, he had a beautiful speech yesterday in the African Union event. And that one is something we have to send out. We don't quite have it. But Miranda, if you perchance have it, or Carlin could put it in from the Zoom in the chat, people can then have access to that. And that'll be our best shot at Musi and his beautiful spirit. So anyway, we're off and running. 55 countries, watch out world. And Africa wants to lead the way to peace on earth by 2030. So excited about that. The foundation of peace on earth in Africa are peace on earth zones. And we do have the good fortune of having 3 representatives of peace on earth zones today to speak to us about their experience playing the game and creating their peace on earth zones. Jamie Lee Adams from the University of the Western Cape and Kabanga in South Africa will lead us off and tell us a little bit about his experience of the game, his experience of his peace on earth zone in Cape Town. Jamie, well, hopefully he'll come back soon. Alas, the challenges of internet in Africa. He was here for a while. Jamie Lee, if you're anywhere around hearing this, please come back and we'll speak to you later. Okay, Mary Alice, I hope you are here because you are next. Mary Alice Oniora from SWAC Community Development in Kenya is our next Peace on Earth Zone leader, and she has been with us almost for 12 years now. Mary Alice is so steeped in our empowerment work and has had an extraordinarily successful Peace on Earth Zone in her community in Kenya. So Mary Alice, tell us about your experience of the game, your experience of the Peace on Earth Zone. Mary Alice, please. We're not hearing you. I think you are muted.
Thank you, David, and everyone else on this show. I'm happy to be here. I am leading a pause in round 1. I led a team of
I think we're having some difficulty hearing you, Mary Alice. Must not be a good day for internet in Africa. Sorry, everybody.
No, we had a terrible storm just an hour or so back.
Mary Alice, we're not seeing you, but we don't need to. We can just hear you, but continue on. I think we lost you the last minute or so, so you may need to start over again.
Okay, if you can hear me, just go.
We can hear you, not perfectly,
So-
but let's try.
Okay. So in round one, I worked with 6 teams and 33 players in the Peace on Earth zone of Butula sub-county in the county of Busia in West Kenya. Kenya has 47 counties and Busia is one of them. I work with rural and disenfranchised groups, many of them with not so much education. So any chance to learn anything new is accepted wholeheartedly. And that is how they accepted the Peace on Earth by 2030.
Sorry, Mary Alice, we are losing you.
A group of
Mary Alice, we're not hearing you. I think we have not a good connection. Sorry. Let's try another moment or so. If not, we may need to pass on so we don't frustrate you and everyone else. Can you hear me, Mary Alice?
let's sit at the cafe.
Mary Alice, we're not hearing you. It's breaking up.
We have
So I think we're going to need to move on to our next person representing Ghana. Maybe we can have you and Hubcast work together to reconnect. And if we can, we'll reconnect with you later. And maybe Musi as well. We'll see if we get lucky. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Mary Alice is an amazing person who is doing amazing things and let us move forward. So, Emmanuel, are you there?
the internet isn't great.
Yes, Mary Alice, you're back again. So, Mary Alice, let's let you speak for another minute or two. If we can't hear you, we're going to need to move on, but you can try. You'll need to really get to the essence of things. Please. Mary Alice? I think we are going to need to move on because it's not going to work for you, Mary Alice. Okay. Emmanuel, are you here?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Okay. So one more try. You may be the full representative of Africa today. I hope you have a good internet. I know you've often had challenges on your internet, but I think you're in a good spot today. So Emmanuel, Emmanuel, help me pronounce your name properly. Abagai, am I saying it right?
Abwaji.
Yeah, I think I didn't say it as good as you.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
never mind.
Correction.
Emmanuel is
So if you could share with us, Emmanuel is representing World Vision in Ghana. If you could share a little bit about your experience of your Peace on Earth zone there. We'll see if we get lucky and bring the others back later. But you're in charge right now, telling the story of Peace on Earth zones in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and greetings to everyone on call. I'm really excited this hour to be part of this meeting to share the wonderful experiences of the pool zone in Ghana. The Peace on Earth program has been an awesome experience for me and my team at Oshimpo, a rural community in the central region of Ghana. The game has brought unity among community members who in time past were faced with some chieftaincy disputes. The realization of peace and unity and the learnings from Action 4 of the game, which is better together, i.e. cooperation for the common good, empowered community members to collaborate and work around shared purpose in service to the larger group. As rural communities, they lack some social services, including good roads and appropriate toilet facilities. And this challenge is very difficult to be solved individually. So, with the learnings from the action, which is action 4, the group then mobilized the community members to use communal labor to repair some portions of their roads, to make them accessible to their farms, to enable them cut foodstuffs to their community and surrounding communities. Upon several sensitization on improved environmental sanitation as part of my work in 6 communities, community members were encouraged to build household toilets, as community-wide toilet was not the best due to health risks it poses. And financial constraints had been one of the reasons most households were not having household toilets. As I mentioned earlier, these are rural communities who are a bit challenged financially. And that has been their challenge with the construction of household toilets in the households. So, with Better Together, the group members at Oshimpo decided to support themselves through communal labor in digging the pit for the construction of their household toilets. So far, 15 pits have been dug, and the initiative by the group was to lessen the burden and cost of constructing the household toilet facilities. These experiences have made the group and myself to admit that a united people cannot be denied progress and development. As part of the lessons from playing the game, the group members learn to cooperate with each other for collective social goods. They also learn that without money, as I mentioned with the household toilet, without money, they can still use their collective strength and skills to address their challenges. In addition to their lessons, they also learn that although external support from government and other agencies in addressing major challenges are relevant, with them coming together, they can address some of their challenges themselves. And personally, as a leader, the Peace on Earth program has helped me to experience peace within and maintain calm posture irrespective of the situation I find myself. And this has been my motivation for leading the group in Ghana. Thank you.
You are a role model, Emmanuel. And it is so touching for me to hear about the game being able to be played at such a basic and profound level, building sanitation, building roads, getting roads built so people can get their crops to the market through playing the game and cooperation for the common good, Action 4 that Miranda spoke to. So many different applications. In Miranda's case in Preston, it was growing food. In this case, it was building roads and sanitation and working together so people could really be there for one another. It's so beautiful. I'm so, so grateful. So thank you for sharing and being our exemplar of the game in Africa and a Peace on Earth Zone. That's what a Peace on Earth Zone can do when you have a lot of people cooperating together and coming together in a single location. So let us see if we have an opportunity now. Jamie was trying to get back in. I don't know if he has gotten back in. And I don't know that Mary Alice and her connection, maybe we can give one more try to Mary Alice, and then if not, we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right,
I'm
Mary
back.
Alice. So we'll need you to get right to the essence because we don't know how long your internet will be good for, but you have a lot to say, so just go right to the heart of it.
Okay, so I don't have to go over what you already had. I am playing the game in Butula, but when we had the cafe, a very successful one with 106 people, more than twice what we had expected, and even then we had to keep some people off. We had one of our team leaders, a pastor, invited his friend to this cafe. And this pastor friend happened to be from the neighboring county, now the second county. Busia is one county. And when he was so impressed at the cafe, and he decided to attend Action 1, the empowerment workshop, which led to another workshop where he invited his fellow pastors and a bishop. So naturally, we have diffused into a new county of Siaya. They are playing in a sub-county called Ugenya sub-county, in a ward called Ugenya East Ward. And they are doing very, very well already. Now, the most meaningful transformation for me as a person is I have become more peaceful, more reflective, and more purposeful in keeping this inner peace. So where I would normally react, especially when I am sure I'm on the right and I need to tell somebody as much, I am calmer. I hold back and first think why the other person thought the way they did, and then we talk. And it has been wonderful. It has just boosted my inner peace, which in turn is influencing so many people around me. So that's what it has done for me as a person. Now, there are so many practical things I can talk about. I am just going to talk about them very, very quickly. The most touching one in Action 2 was when 2 players reached out to a homeless, mentally unstable person who lived on the street and ate garbage. He reached out to this person, befriended him, and strangely enough, the person responded positively. Eventually, the whole market began to treat this person and other mentally unstable people in the market better. And this particular person eventually accepted to go for treatment in the hospital. And as we speak now, is reintegrated with his community. That was a very, very touching one because many people here do not understand mental illness. They think it is a choice somebody makes. Now, in Action 4, in round 1, we also started cooperative farming, very similar to what Miranda is doing. But here we get farmers to grow their own arrowroots, but not to sell it as individuals. During harvest time, all the community members come together and they harvest from one farm together. And then they go to the next farm and harvest it together, even though the farm belongs to an individual. And then they market it together and get much, much better prices. This has really boosted the income of the community, and it is something they love so much. They also do the same, Action 3, they do the same for bereaved families, a group of 300. We have formed, they have formed a group of 300 persons who support each other when there is a bereavement among one of them. You can imagine 300 people coming together to support one family. It makes the burden very light on one single bereaved family. Now, to go into my new county, the pastors playing there are actually very, very active. I'll just mention one or two. One from Action 1, somebody who had completely given up on doing anything in business, got so much an agency and empowerment that she undertook to start a petrol station, a gas station, after her growing age was facilitated around this area. And as we speak, in the month of July, that is an ongoing concern. And the husband is one of the sales persons there. So the wife has employed the husband. Now, another one is a church,
Mary
a
Alice,
small church.
Mary Alice, we're going to need you
Yes.
to bring closure. I know that you've got excitement and you've got a lot of momentum because you're back in, but we're over our 5 minutes. So just bring closure if you would.
Yes. Okay, I will just do the last one very quickly, that this church has established hand washing stations in a very large market. And when the community, when the church traders saw this, they organized themselves and now they provide the liquid soap for the market without waiting for the government to do it, although they pay taxes enough to demand for that service from the government. Thank you, David. Hello, David? I have finished.
Sorry, I was muted. I was sorry.
Oh,
I'm
I've finished.
everyone else to unmute, and I muted myself. I was just saying we need a whole program just for you to tell all these amazing stories. You've been so successful. And I just want to underscore
Yes.
one point that you made, Mary Alice. You are demonstrating
Yes.
a very important part of the game, which is diffusion on its own momentum. So you have now gone to scale in your community and now are diffusing to other communities, which shows the power of this game to replicate. So I have deep gratitude for the beautiful work you're doing. And at some point, we want to hear all the stories, but we just don't have enough time right now. Thank you, my friend. So
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So Jamie Lee is back. Thank you all for your patience while we work with the internet issues in our beloved Africa and other places. So Jamie Lee, if you could share a little bit about your story. Jamie Lee represents University of the Western Cape, where we're working with students, and also Kabanga, one of our NGOs in South Africa in Cape Town. So Jamie Lee, talk to us. Tell us about your journey.
Thank you so much for your patience, and I'm really honored to be in this space. Always honored to be in this space. I was asked about the game about it a few weeks ago, about my experience of the game, and I shared that during round one of playing the game, I was so aware of each intention and action that I really thought I was manifesting and mastering each one of them very well. And so naturally, I thought in the second round, I was just affirming those intentions and those actions. However, as I was playing the game for the second time around, I found myself that each action needed me to be much deeper this time around, because extremely challenged in doing these actions, because now it wanted me to be more authentic and more genuine, as if I was asking and doubting myself to say, did I not play this game the first time? And this made quite uneasy, because it required me to be completely vulnerable. And so what I took from this experience was the awareness that how I look at my areas of change and of how deeply I wanted to have these and to share these experiences. But it also made me realize that I was so easy to accept the easy parts of this journey called life, and that I didn't want to take the faults and my difficulties and challenges with me. And I realized those were all important parts of my personal growth and my desire to have peace within myself. I needed to not only focus on the good things that I liked, my strengths, but I also had to embrace my shortcomings. I realized that I was creating a war within myself between where I was and where I wanted to be. And the game allowed me and taught me the art of changing oneself in a firm and very tender way, being kind to oneself. This not tolerating myself, but or even being aggressive towards myself, but instead providing myself the empowerment space that I wanted to create for others and for myself to change. So through each action, therefore, I realized that I needed to change my attitude. My attitude needed to be transformed. And I needed to just look at my limiting beliefs that life is hard and change is hard. I had to look at both. I learned that change can be a wonderful experience where I embrace the joy and the learning of the challenges, and that it all forms part of my personal growth. Also, that these challenges were actually an opportunity for me to mature and to grow in my shortcomings and embody my strength and my true being of who I am. And so this Peace on Earth game, in essence, gave me so much new hope in knowing that all of me, all of it, the win and the losses, create a deeper truth of who I am and who I aspire to be, because I'm able to go from each of those experiences. I'm able to step into the truth every time I'm honest about who I am, and that is the first step in creating peace within myself, a peace that distills both victories and the challenges of life. So that, in essence, speaks about my journey and my experience and my opportunities for growth as I was playing the Peace on Earth game. So thank you so much for allowing me the space to share.
So Jamie Lee, you focused on one aspect of your journey, which is self. Let me just say something else, and in the most beautiful and vulnerable way. You are an exemplar of playing the game. Thank you for going deep and peeling to the layers to your next growing edge. But let me just say something else. Jamie Lee is also co-leading a Peace on Earth zone in Kabanga and in the University of the Western Cape. Many students are transforming. 12% of the campus has been influenced, and amazing things are happening that are influencing universities throughout Africa. So while you didn't have a chance to brag, let me brag on your behalf of all the good work that you and your colleague Letitia are doing. And thank you for just giving us a chance to get into your heart. So we get to see the essence of how you show up in your Peace on Earth zone. Thank you, my friend. Okay, so we did it somehow, more or less, short of Musi, who I had to represent, which is a hard thing to do, but we have gotten a little taste of Africa, everybody. So again, if there is a chance to put the Zoom from yesterday and maybe you've already done this in the chat, people can get to know more about that whole Africa story with Musi and the African Union. But we move on. So we now are moving into action 5, so 3 to go. And we get to hear about the action called abundance from someone who is an exemplar of abundance and many other things. She is the executive director of Pathways to Peace. She's a member of the Rotary Club. She's also a dream keeper and was one of the top 5 performers playing the game. She will share her, and she carries immense amount of light, as you'll see when you get a taste of her being. She will share her experience playing the game and taking action 5 on abundance. Gabrielle.
Thank you. Thank you, David. My heart is just so full. I'm actually feeling quite abundant. Thank you to everyone who has been sharing. So I'm going to speak about abundance, and that's the frequency, and the action was that we have an experience of supporting organizations that create peace on earth. And of course, I loved taking this action on abundance because giving brings me great joy. My growing edge throughout the game is time. And I think that's probably true for many of you here. Time to pursue the things that make the most difference in our world, and time, using my time in a way that brings me joy. So I want to take an opportunity to share just a little bit about what I know about abundance, and then how the game has really provided an opportunity for me to deepen and grow my awareness of abundance. What I believe I know about abundance is that it's bigger than giving money, that it expresses the knowing that each of us is surrounded in all forms of abundance. However, I used to say, money is just energy. And now it's like, I know money is energy. And therefore, as all energy, how we use it and how we regard it is a reflection of our own divinity, as all energy is. I know that abundance works best when we are in balance between giving and receiving, as giving and receiving are the same energy. So if you can imagine this beautiful infinity symbol, right, with the energy of giving and receiving moving around it, it is at that nexus where they come into balance that all things are manifest. All abundance is manifest out of that balance. So I also know that our emotions carry the frequency of our hearts. And if we feel that calling to give with great love or gratitude or joy, the gift is multiplied on many levels. I'd like to share just a story of a friend of mine who is a very enlightened healer. And right now she is in a place where she has very little money. However, she felt called to give to our girls' shelter in Guinea. And so she gave what might be considered a small donation. That donation was $5, okay? When I received that donation, it brought me to tears because I knew that it was given with great love. And I felt so blessed. And I knew she was blessed as well. So as it happened, the very next day, she received a $1,000 gift. She immediately turned around and gave a second donation to the girls' shelter. And not only was Pathways to Peace and the girls' shelter blessed, I know she was blessed. I know our partners in Guinea were blessed. And our love and our gratitude in response raised the frequency of the planet. So many of you here know that I felt called into Peace on Earth by 2030. And it was just that kind of heart response. And when I looked at the incredible impact of the initiative already and the metrics, because I'm a closeted data geek, maybe not so closeted now, I knew that this was the best opportunity we had in front of us to be able to experience peace on earth over the course of the next 7 years. And then I was so excited, I brought in my peace brother, David Wick, and other beloved partners into support and play the game and be a part of the initiative. So what was important to me, because my growing age was time, I had to make playing the game a priority. And to make the game a priority, I had to embrace that I was playing the game as a gift to myself. And when I felt a calling to give out of that space, when I was playing the game, what shifted was that I gave immediately to that calling instead of waiting for the time to be right and then perhaps to lose the opportunity to give. So the game has provided me an opportunity to gather with other folks who are committed to peace on earth by 2030, and it's fortified my belief that it can happen. In carving out time for reflection, like so many others, I've had the opportunity to go deeper and to expand my understanding and awareness. I am better prepared to bring peace to our planet as a result of playing the game. So I'm so looking forward to bringing the next piece of our work together out to our networks. And I'm going to be playing the game in January again with other like-spirited people. So thank you, everyone here. Thank you. And thank you, David, for this rich and rewarding opportunity. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessakaya. Tessakaya did not mention one other small organization she has enrolled, which is the Rotary Club. She's
Yes.
now trying to engage their 26,000 Rotary clubs around the world in 200 countries to be showing up and seeing if they can make peace the equivalent of what they did for polio, eradicating polio. I mean, one is eradication, one is actually a creation process. So good luck on that venture. We're so excited. And by the way, I think you, as I said to you, and I've shared with the Rotary Club members where you've invited me to speak to them, they were very involved in the first Earth Run in 1986, helping us make this torch of peace go around the world and be so successful. So my mantra to them is, let's finish the job.
Yes.
So,
and it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. So yay, Rotary Club, yay, having an international institution and network like that show up to help us make this happen. Thank you, my friend. Okay, moving along. We're now almost to actions. Well, 2 more to go. We're in action 6 right now. We do not have the good fortune of having in person, Tammy Scarlett of Unify, but we do have a beautiful video that she's prepared. She was traveling and felt so sorry she couldn't make it, but she created a beautiful video that talks about action 6 on love. And action 6 on love is really not just love by itself, but love for humanity. Agape love, as the Greeks call it, through praying for peace on earth and praying for the well-being of others to create peace in their lives and in their communities. So Tammy Scarlett, let us see her video and get a taste of her beautiful energy and light.
Hi, I'm Tammy Scarlett, and the action I'm sharing with you about is the love action, praying for and visualizing peace on earth.
Unmute her. See her voice?
So going into this love action, my growing edge was releasing self-judgment. And I think that's because the idea of peace on earth is so big. And when I would see it practically, it's like I would come up against that edge of myself where I just wasn't seeing how it could be me that could affect change in these areas. I would think, who am I to do this? It would trigger imposter syndrome, things I've worked on many times before, but they came up again. And I knew that because this Peace on Earth game is a catalyst for growth and change in any and every area of our lives, that I really needed to lean into this more, not shy away from it. So I did. I leaned in.
Beautiful.
And I really asked to have some deep learnings from the Love Action Week. The prayer that I wrote for it, I'll share again with you now. I said, my prayer is for the healing of hurt and separation for every sentient being, even at the smallest cellular level. Let love thrive.
Yeah, you
Let
can hear it
hearts
on
be
Facebook.
full as moments are full. Let our sight be opened to know ourselves and one another, to recognize this field that connects us, that in our differences we are knit of the same. Let hurts be held. Let needs be met with cups that run over. May we know that we are love. Let us go out and open doors and weave life and light with our love and with our compassion and with our grace. I am full of gratitude for it is done. And that was my prayer. And I was waiting for it to show up practically for me in relation to my growing edge. And what happened was I had a moment where I had to take Aurelia to school late because she had slept in. And so we had late arrival. And when I dropped her off, I had great expectations for the day. But I noticed as I opened the door and brought her into the room that the teacher's countenance was shifted, that she was frustrated that I had brought Aurelia late. And when I saw that, I became frustrated. I became hurt and frustrated. And I didn't realize why at the moment. And I had to drop her off quickly and I left and I went to go do some work and decided to do some meditation to really lean into the discomfort of that experience. And when I did, I realized that this prayer that I had been saying for the world and the visualization of peace on earth, it's for everyone everywhere. It's really, truly for everyone everywhere. It's what I want in my heart, my soul, and my being. And somehow when I have this moment that's practical in my life with this person where I maybe am offended a little bit because I had a certain expectation of how the day would go or how things would go, then this prayer for healing of hurt and for hearts being full and knowing that we're knit of the same and all of that, it somehow it's not in the same paradigm. It's like I'm caught up in this in this like kind of connection that has to do with whatever that perceived offense was. And when I leaned in further, I realized that that was really about my expectations. It wasn't really about her at all. That teacher was being composed. She was being informative. She was a little frustrated, and that's fine. She can be frustrated. But I had this experience where for a moment I wasn't able to hold this desire for peace. I just lost the desire for a second myself because this other thing had taken the place of it and got way bigger. And that was my expectations. So the growth for me was in that initially I was feeling that peace on earth is this big grand thing and I can see it if it's 8 billion people. But can I see it if it's just 2 of us? If it's just 2 of us and that thing that's happening on your side of things and my side of things feels suddenly opposed, can I hold it then? Can I hold it when I'm the person who feels like something was done against me? Or when I thought that clearly we were on the same page and so clearly it was going to be this outcome and then that expectation wasn't met. Now, while I've had some experiences like that before, and I've thought, hey, I've got maturity in this area, but the way that it came up for me so potently, and probably because it was about my child, was like, hey, I really have to look at this. The truth is that I do want peace to prevail. I want it to prevail in earth, and I want it to prevail in me, and that love action. That's probably the biggest love action that I could take was just letting peace prevail in me in those moments where the offense might be mine to carry, and that is just how it is. So I'm so grateful for that lesson. I'm so grateful for the love action and for all the actions. This game has been so full and beautiful and potent for me, and I love that it changes each of us as we choose to participate, as we choose to dive more deeply and be changed. And while that's happening, we're actually affecting change for the entire world, literally moving the dial little by little, but then exponentially for the world. So I'm grateful I've gotten a chance to do it. I'm grateful for you doing it. And I'm grateful that we've been able to share this game space together for peace on earth. So much love to everyone.
dear Tammy Scarlett, who is the embodiment of love and light. She kind of really is the role model of love and light. So many of us use those phrases. She is love and light. Thank you, dearest Tammy, for your beautiful work. And we are now going to move on to our last action, which is on faith. And we have Miranda Clendenning back for a command performance. Miranda is one of the faith keepers. One of the things Miranda and I have in common is that we believe in humanity and we believe in our future. And when one holds those two beliefs, one steps into the role of faith keeper. But also as part of the action on faith, it's the invitation to others to play the game and engage and have faith in humanity and in faith that we can achieve these results, and have faith in oneself that one can invite and create this kind of change and be willing to go out there and represent it from your own direct experience and heart. So Miranda, talk to us about Action 7 on faith.
Yes, thank you, David. And thank you, Tez. It's such an honor to work with you, Tez, over so many years of your amazing work for peace in the world. And Avon Matson was a mentor and teacher and great inspiration to me throughout my life. The hardest part of this job is not crying during all of this, especially Mary Alice. Also, you and your Pozone and every step that we hear about more progress that you make from your entire community wanting to join in the next round, and now the homeless person that's now reintegrating back into society. It's just, hearing what they did to begin with, but hearing now where they're at. These are all such big parts of faith and getting to the end of the game once you play around. The Hopi even talk about the Hopi came to the Earth Run with David in 1986. They sent a representative to the UN, which was also part of their prophecy. But in their prophecy, they say that humanity will have a choice of two paths, that we will either choose destruction or we will choose a path of peace for the planet and unity and cooperation and become rainbow warriors of peace. And I've known that prophecy my entire life. I've been to the Hopi Nation and sat with elders and some beautiful, they taught me a lot, which is another one of the synchronicities in my life that led me here now, as well as watching the Earth Run when I was 6 years old and thinking that peace was coming to the planet already, but now getting to work with David in this moment as we work towards peace happening. And in this action 7, faith, I guess the most touching piece of it is that we go into a visioning process of, do we believe, after playing some of the actions of the game, that peace on earth is really possible? And in the beginning of the game, especially my youth and kids, when you ask, do you believe that peace on earth is possible? They say, well, honestly, no. Like, our world is crazy. I don't think we can do something. It actually seems quite impossible and kind of crazy that you guys are talking like this. And I love seeing their transformation by the end of the game, because we get out whiteboards and drawings and we have everybody say everything that comes to their mind about this future vision of what peace on earth looks like. And everyone talks about ending suffering, everyone having a home, everyone having food, everyone loving each other and cooperating, everything being in harmony, all people, all in for all life, truly. And even all the way to, someday we'll have unicorns and rainbows, and just the kids really map out all kinds of beautiful visions of peace on earth being possible and where we're going. But it takes that kind of faith to then share to your families, to your community, to your friends, to join us. But it changes people's lives, even just them hearing any of us say that we believe peace on earth is possible, and not only possible, but possible by 2030. it impacts people and their lives greatly. Even just to hear our faith when we say that, people tell me, tell it to me again, tell it to me like you see it, and with your faith of where we're going. And we're all needed to share that faith, however you do it, however your story is of why you believe peace on earth is possible in our communities and for our planet and with each other. So keep the faith, hold the faith, may peace prevail on earth. That's where we're going.
Yes, I think we're changing, Miranda, may peace prevail on earth to peace will prevail on earth by 2030. And what we've been hearing is why 2030? Why not sooner? I love that the social norm is, of course, 2030, but can we get there sooner? I love yesterday in our African Union, the president of the African Union ECOSOC group was saying peace on earth by 2023. I was very inspired. I did not want to correct him that it was actually 7 years earlier than we had planned. I don't know whether that was a slip or whether he's actually just pushing the envelope, because this is Africa. We got to move up this, the pace of change. So thank you, Miranda. You are a great faith keeper, and we have many faith keepers. You become a dream keeper when you take the 7 actions and have reported them, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're immediately a faith keeper. That takes time and practice, and that's the daily practice of envisioning and seeing the possibility of peace on earth by 2030 or sooner. So one of the opportunities we have right now is that Kristen has created a song that tells us exactly what it looks like, what it feels like. She sings about it. It's become our anthem for the Peace on Earth by 2030 game. Welcome to the Golden Age. And for us, the Peace on Earth by 2030 is not the end game. That is the portal into the Golden Age that we've been promised, and which we believe will be the journey of humanity over the next 2,000 years. And we are now paving the way through the game and these actions and other things that are happening on the planet for that moment. But we have the good fortune to be there now. Kristen has taken us to the Golden Age, and she's welcoming us. Kristen,
thank you.
About what we get to experience right now. We don't have to wait.
Welcome to the Golden Age. We are here. We get to tap in right now through the powerful vehicle of music, which takes us right into the heart, into the emotional centers. And I believe as an artist that when we activate our emotion and activate our hearts, that's where the real seeds of change start to grow and take root. So definitely, if you feel called, share this song as you're playing the game. Share this with your group, with your teams, sing it together, and just really enjoy it. Use it as a vehicle for feeling this golden age now. I have been so inspired by all of the sharings. Aziz, it just melts my heart in the most beautiful way to think that the girls playing in Afghanistan are excited by the song and really feeling that. And all of the other incredible stories that have been shared today are testament to the fact that this game works. It is real life practice of peace. I know a lot of times we have seen peace movement this, peace movement that, but we see very little real life change. And I have to say, from being a team leader myself and playing the game, I know that this game works. So embrace it, hold it in your hearts, play it, share it, and we will be in the golden age. Here we go. Welcome to the golden age. High frequency, our DNA. Anchored in our will to shine. With peace on earth, our guiding light. Our initiation has begun. So close your eyes, heartbeat as one. Transformation is now. Feel the sun, golden light shining down. When we dream as one, we hold the key to evolve. See as one, unconditional love. Welcome to the golden age, where presence is the only place, an opportunity to thrive in harmony with all of life. Any obstacle is overcome, hand in hand, heartbeat as one. We are one. Transformation is now. Feel the sun, golden light shining down. As we dream as one, we hold the key to evolve. See as one, unconditional love. Faith and oneness, unity, abundance, love. Oh, love. Empowerment is raising and cooperation. Oh, faith and oneness, unity, abundance, love. Oh, love. Empowerment is raising and cooperation. Oh, we are one. Transformation is now. Feel the sun, face the sun, golden light shining down. Golden light shining. When we dream as one, when we dream as one, we hold the key to evolve. We hold that key. See as one. We see as one. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. Welcome to the golden age, where peace on earth in one decade is held in every heart and mind, and lifted through the codes of time. Acceleration has begun. Now's our moment. Live as one. Feel the rhythm of Gaia's drum. Just close your eyes, heartbeat as one.
Kristen,
Oh.
what does it feel like to sing that song?
I have to say, every single time feels like pure magical connection. And I feel so blessed to have had the opportunity to bring through this song. I feel that through this song, one of my key mission in this life is being actualized, which is to really be a vehicle for conscious music to connect us. And so every time I get to sing this song, I feel like I'm living into my unique mission. And reminding each of us, we each have our unique voice, our unique way of sharing this message of peace. And so I just want to encourage each and every one of you to just listen to what your unique voice is saying, and how am I going to play? How do I want to use my voice and my gifts to share this message? So I'm just so grateful, so grateful. Thank you for believing in me as a musician, David, and really calling me into the creation of the song and through the beautiful vision that you had of ushering in this golden age of peace. Thank you. And for those who have listened, the song came out officially on International Day of Peace the other day. So you can find it on Spotify. You can find it on my Bandcamp page and in your favorite music stores worldwide. Okay. So much love.
So one thing that's amazing is that every time we play that song, we're building the field. We're entering the golden age. We do not have to wait for 2030. This is my answer to everyone who said, why are you waiting so long for peace on earth? I love that's my next question that I have to deal with and love to deal with. Go play this song and go to the golden age. Like, it's instantaneous. You'll go there and practice these frequencies. They're also on our website, and play the game with us. We love you to play the game. We have the next round starting January 17th to March 20th. We have an information meeting, and maybe Carlin can put in the chat or wherever a link to it. But if you don't have access, it's Peace 2030, Peace 2030. That's easy to remember. .earth/events, and that will take you to the October 11th event. We have one in at noon for those that are coming from Africa or Europe, and one at 8 p.m. And we look forward to partnering with you. If you have interest, reach out to us through Peace 2030. I think it's info@peace2030.earth, and tell us your interest and how to partner. If you want to bring a Peace on Earth, bring Peace on Earth to your community at Peace on Earth Zones, reach out. Miranda will reach back out to you and tell you how you can create Peace on Earth Zones like we've heard about in Africa and in Crestone. So let us end our time today together. And yes, before I go into my closing visualization with you, there's a beautiful, in fact, I think, Kristen, you're playing again in the Peace concert, right? So if for no other reason you're not done with Kristen, go there. But there are a number of amazing musicians. It starts in just 25 minutes or so. Check it out. It's going to be so celebratory and such a beautiful way to end our 99 Days of Peace, which gives me a moment to do a shout out to Ben Bowler, to John Raymer, to Irina Morrison, to Hubcast, to all the amazing people that have worked so hard, all the groups that have put on amazing events during Peace Week, during World Unity Week. I'm just touched by the energy that is in the space right now for peace. I mean, we have tipped, we've turned a corner. We are privileged to be part of that energy field that has been built. So deep, 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 deep gratitude to my brother Ben, my brother John, my sister Irina, and so many others who have helped make this happen, and everyone who has spent time creating their amazing peace events this week and World Unity events. 99 days ago, literally, we started this adventure. And more to come, just warming up. So let us close our eyes. Let us transport ourselves to 2030. We are now entering the golden age, or some of us have entered sooner, but the world is catching up. We have peace on earth in Africa because of the great stresses they face. They are so open to this idea, and they want it, as Mariella said so beautifully, because they want something like this to believe in. And as Aziz said so beautifully, in Afghanistan, the same. Let us go to that place and experience this as our destiny, as our birthright, and prophesize we are getting there, and we will get there a lot sooner when everyone says yes. We hope to have millions and millions and millions of people playing the game. We hope everyone who hears about this says, yes, I want to be part of this. That's how we get there. So visualize it, feel it in your hearts, feel it in your minds, feel it in your soul, feel it in your body. This is our truth, our time. It is now. Peace is here. Peace is here. It starts with me practicing and living the truth of that. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for being here. Stay tuned for the next passing of the torch to the beautiful cultural icons who will sing us into the ending phases of this journey. By the way, for those that are tracking, I don't remember the name. I think it used to be called, Kristen, what's the name of the thing that happened Saturday night with Scott?
The Awakening World.
I will be on The Awakening World tonight, so more to come. So check that out later tonight, The Awakening World with Scott Katamas.
Oh, and guess what? I don't even know if you know this, but tonight, the amazing Keishi Chai, who was on our team, will be dancing to Welcome to the Golden Age.
As
Surprise.
Part of that event? I love it.
Yes, it's going to happen tonight. She's amazing.
And by the way, the name of our team was called Poet One, as you can imagine. As the team leader, Kristen was the leader of Peace on Earth Team One. And now we just got through Global Peace on Earth Team One. So I digress. Be well, my friends. Love to you, blessings to you, and I hope to see many of you soon. And thank you all that came today, to all my friends who shared their stories of their actions and their pozones. So blessings.
Thank you. Thank you, David. It was nice. Blessing.
Thank you, everyone.
Unity Earth TV, Unity Earth TV, Unity Earth, oh come on home. Unity Earth TV, Unity Earth TV, Unity Earth, we're coming home.
It's my great privilege to introduce to you Antoinette Root's daughter, Ampato Banton.